Hi, welcome to or welcome back to templeofsunshine.com and Temple of Sunshine on YouTube. I am excited to talk to you about today's topic because it is something that is very dear to my heart and I've been studying it for over a year now, and that still means that I'm fairly new to it and I've got lots to learn, but I want to share all the knowledge I have with you regarding Taoism, and I'll be doing a lot more on my channel in 2021. I've set a lot of intentions and plans to go through a whole series where I talk to you about how I'm sort of transforming into someone who implements Taoism in their daily life, in their modern life, and of course uses it to cope with stress, anxiety, uses it for manifesting and also just to stay calm. And I also will be assessing how the traditional teachings of Taoism from Lao Tzu, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, can be applied to today's modern world. But of course, today's topic specifically is that the answer is always within, and this is something that I have learned from the Tao Te Ching. Once again, might not be pronouncing this right, but also not just learning that from the Tao Te Ching, but also learning that from reading more about Taoism, researching it more. I've really come to this amazing realization that everything I need to know is within. So without wasting more time, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so let's delve into sort of what Taoism is, short segment on that, and of course I'll be doing a video all about Taoism soon if I'm going to do my series. So essentially Taoism comes from ancient China. Lao Tzu was a sage that lived at a similar time as Confucius, I believe. Once again, it's been a whole year or so since I've done the basics, so forgive me if I'm wrong, and of course not an expert yet. So Lao Tzu set out sort of this book that he wrote, and it's sort of written in not poems, but they're like small little short paragraphs, and they talk about, I mean, they're verses. People refer to them as verses, almost like a Bible, and you can think of it like a Bible as well, but it is the basis of Taoism, and it sort of explains, but it doesn't even explain, it's actually written in riddles, so it takes a lot of understanding, but essentially the verses tell you what Lao Tzu thought of the Tao and what Taoism is and how you can implement it in your life. A lot of it is about being a leader of a state, which obviously I am not, and you know, I can use it sort of in work and whatnot, but I want to use it more in my life. So today I want to talk to you about the fact that whenever you do have a big question, or you have a choice, or you're stuck between should I do this or should I not, or when you have a duality, let's say, do I go with option A or option B, I just want to tell you that the answer is always within you, and this is definitely something Taoism has taught me. So the reason why the answer is always within you is because the Tao teaches us to always look within. The Tao teaches us that, you know, regardless of what's going on in your external, everything is within your internal. That is where the Tao is. And of course, Lao Tzu does state that the Tao is everywhere. It can be seen, it can't be seen. You know, like I said, it's completely written in riddles, but the Tao is very much within you, i.e. life source, or Abraham Hicks calls it source. The Secret calls it just sort of your spirit or your soul. And of course, not just The Secret, but I'm just talking about within the law of attraction community. And a lot of people will simply call it, you know, your inner guide, or your higher self. Higher self is the word I'm looking for. So essentially, that's how I've interpreted the Tao. That might not be what Lao Tzu meant, and that's okay too, but that's how I've interpreted it, and that's how it works for me. So very much when you're posed with a question or really difficult, and you know that you have sort of a path that you can go down, or you simply don't have the answer and you don't really know how to face this issue, then look for the answer within, because the answer will always be within, right? That is what the Tao teaches us, but also so many spiritual teachers and amazingly wise people who know what they're talking about tell us to look within. Now, rather than me going on about, you know, look within, the answer's within, I'm actually going to give you an example. So I was manifesting a new job sort of late 2018, not late, well, I started the intentions around late 2018 because I was on a graduate scheme which was going to finish in 2 years, and I really wanted to make something of myself. I didn't want to stay on at the company. I really wanted to go out, do my own thing and succeed in my own way, right? And I was getting myself very worked up and stressed about getting this new job somewhere which is away from my current company. Lo and behold, it got to around August last year and I secured a really so it was a consultancy firm, just to sort of give you more context, and I secured an amazing dream client I've always wanted to work with the company that I vouched that I was going to leave. So I got more flexible because the Tao has always taught me to be more flexible. When we are flexible and not so rigid in what we want, more opportunities come towards us, but we will discuss that in my Taoism series. So what I wanted to say was that came up and I was like, okay, so maybe I don't need to leave this company, maybe I'll stick it around a bit longer, maybe I will enjoy myself at this dream client, and then we'll see, you know, we'll take it from there. And salary was looking okay too. But for months and months, I had been, from like July, maybe June, I had been scripting about a specific salary that I wanted, what kind of location I wanted. So this was in sort of a part of the city that would have taken me longer to commute, the one with the consultancy firm, and I wanted something that was less of a commute because I'm not a morning person. And of course, who wants a long commute? So all of that aside, I got to a position where I had to choose between this new job offer that I had with a sort of a better salary, really great commute, but was a much smaller name, and I don't know what it would have done for my career. But I also had, you know, the huge consultancy client that I was going to join, and I remember sort of being like getting the job offer for this one and sort of freaking out about which one do I choose, because I just didn't know which one would be better for career progression, which I know one had a higher salary but only by a little bit. So which one was better for career progression, which one's better long term? Like, I don't want to take the short term benefit and then screw up my long term sort of progression, right? So just to make things worse, just to sort of throw a curveball in my way, the universe sent me a very mean call from my old company telling me that I was going to completely ruin my career by joining this new company, and also that they might go bust during like a poor financial climate. And you know, we've just seen coronavirus, everything is fine. I don't want to give the spoiler away, but of course I joined the other company with more salary and a shorter commute because I knew the answer within. So I called my mum and I freaked out and I almost took it out on her, and I feel bad. She just told me, close your eyes, big deep breaths, and ask yourself what the answer is, because you know what the answer is. And she was so right. She's so right. I did know what the answer was the whole time, and it was to leave the company I always wanted to leave and go with this brand new thing that I had started all by myself, done all on my own merit. And it was much more exciting because the people at this company were very excited to have me on. You know, they did a lot of compromises, they did put up the salary, they also allowed me to start on a way later date than they needed the new candidate to start, and they did a lot of, you know, things to welcome me, and my potential manager was going to be amazing. So I remember absolutely freaking out, calling the recruiter like 3 times that day, and he was like, what, like he was getting annoyed at one point as well. And you know, I was just in a juxtaposition of what the hell to do. I don't know if that's the right word, but you get my point. So I took my mum's advice, I closed my eyes, took a few deep breaths, I really asked myself, like, what is it that I want? And honestly, I came out of that, I guess it was a meditation, I came out of that with a crystal clear answer. I knew what I wanted the whole time. My gut knew what I wanted the whole time. The whole time when I was freaking out, calling my mum, calling the recruiter, when I was on the phone to my old company, the whole time I knew what I wanted, but I was too scared to just say, this is what I want, because I didn't know what the future held. But my inner guide, my inner self, the answers were all within. Trust me, I knew what was the right option. And obviously, with a year on, year and 6 months on almost, I know I took the right decision then, because I went with my inner guide. I didn't go with I didn't allow myself to be swayed by external things. So for example, the call from my old company where they were yelling at me and telling me it was the worst decision of my life, they obviously did that with intention to sway my decision, but I didn't do it because I listened to what I knew was right within, and that will never fail you. And the Tao has definitely taught me that throughout last year, even more this year. I always know the answers within. Your intuition is your best guide. Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long because that is pretty much all I had to say. But whenever you have a decision to make, whenever you are worried about something, ask within, because you always know the answer. And you can probably think of a million examples in your life before where you've had to make a decision, or you've been in a similar situation to where I have, and you knew the answer all along, and it probably worked out for you. So if you needed to hear this, I'm really sure that it found you, and I'm really glad that you watched this video. But if you did find this useful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.